This is the next part of working on the fallout corridor, and while it doesn't look like it here, I've actually finished the modeling, and I did that just so that it wouldn't take too much time, too many videos. And I've also gone ahead and started doing some texturing here in Substance Painter, so you can see that there are some textures. I will probably do some of that kind of thing in the future with you, and so I don't really need to go over that. This thing here is something else that I modeled and textured. This is the sort of the oxygen tanks from the Fallout game, and so it is very simple to model and very simple to texture. So I've just gone ahead and done that again to save some time. But what I want to work on right now with you is the floor panels, which will be arrayed down here. So I'm just taking the array off like that. Okay, so I've got this thing here ready to go, and that's what we're going to work on today. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to switch over to UV editing, and what I want to do on this is I want to have actually two materials. So I'm going to select this top face. Now this whole thing was mirrored before, and I've applied the mirror. So I'm going to select that part, and I'm going to come over to the materials, and I'm going to click Add, New, and this I'm going to call something like Floor Upper Grate. It's going to have sort of a grate texture, and I'll sign. Then I'm going to press Control I to select everything but that, and I'm going to create a new material. And this is just going to be Floor Upper Main, let's say, and I'm going to assign that. So it'll be two different materials. So if I do this and I go select, I can get that. And I'm going to UV unwrap this. I'm just going to press U, unwrap, and it's pretty much going to fill up a nice large area. And that's all I need to do for that piece. I'm going to press Control I, and this is the other material here. And this one I want to unwrap, and I want to actually put some seams in there. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's see. Now, this is not ideal geometry, and you can even see some shading issues here, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select there and face selection in there and Control E, mark seam. And then I'm just going to come around and I'm going to select maybe there and maybe here, mark seam. Let's see, yeah, that's okay there. Let's come to the other side and do the same thing. Which one did I have? The back one. Okay, so I'm going to select here, and I don't know which one, maybe this bottom one, Control E, mark seam. And I want this area here with a seam too, so I can put a texture on there, Control E, mark seam. We'll see if that's a good enough area, or if I need to enclose it more. So I'll go ahead and I'll do the same thing. I think it's the bottom one, the inner ones. I just want to double check that. Yeah, the inner ones. Now if I take that, but I don't want that, so maybe what I'll do is just hide that and take this. Okay. And let's see how that unwraps. You unwrap. Okay, I can straighten some of those. So that's not too bad as it is, okay? So let's come over to this thing here. First of all, this guy and the other one on the other side. If I do that and Control L, and I'm just going to do unwrap. I'll make them a bit smaller, just move them off here. We'll come back to that later. And then this thing here, I'm going to select the this inner ring, Control E, mark seam, and maybe we'll do, should we do the inner ones? Should make sure that goes all the way around, or should I do the outer one? Maybe I'll do the outer one there. And then I can even get to the outer one there. I think I can get it underneath there. Okay, that one, that's fine. That could work anyhow. So I got the, which one did I get? Maybe I'll mirror this to the other side so I don't have to do it again. I got that one, Control E, mark seam. And that's going to go all the way around. Actually, before I do anything else so I don't forget, let's get that one. Mark seam. And then I got, which one is it, the top or the bottom? The bottom one. This one. If I just take that, let's see what that did. If I missed anything, yeah, I can straighten some of that out. So I got that. That's fine. Let's see. How about if we take this and get rid of it? And I'll take, not that piece, but a little bit of this. I'm going to separate it. And let's go back to layout. It's a bit easier. Okay, and I'm going to set the origin to the 3D cursor. And we'll mirror this and see if we get in the right spot. Looks like we did, so I'm going to apply the mirror and take this and join it. I'll go back to UV editing, and then I have the UVs on both. Okay, so that other part is hidden, so if I take this, except for those guys, well, I can just do this anyhow. I can probably just go unwrap. And my circles are pretty small. I kind of like them. So let's take this and this, Control E. Let's hide those, and then take this and just unwrap. It gives some pretty small pieces there. Let's just find out where these are from. Okay, so there. So let's do this. Let's take this, and I mean you could just do one and mirror them. Let's just unwrap those and scale them down, and then let's play with this to try and straighten some stuff out. So you can do it in Blender, but I'm going to try the add-on UV squares. Okay, and I'll get that. I'll take this one and that. Those ones are okay, and then let's just see if I can straighten these. You don't always need to do this, but you'll be able to pack your UVs a little bit better. So let's just see how these all work, and maybe I'll rotate it. So Control L to grid by shape. Okay, rotate 90. And I'm not sure exactly where these are positioned, and if I even really need to straighten them and rotate them, but looks like they're all very similar. So, and these pieces, maybe I'll just move out and scale them. Okay, so those things are okay, and then if I Control I, so you know what I might try? I might try actually Cube Project. Let's see if I take that and let's try I just want to pack that and see what that's like. I think that may be okay for that piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that down out of the way for a second, and I'm going to take this, and I think that's probably okay. These pieces in particular, those ones, I'm going to need to pay some attention to. I think those are the ones. In fact, we're going to find out right now. I'm going to select there. It's actually that one and this one. These are important because, let's get rid of this. I'm going to be adding a hazard pattern on this, and I want them pretty similar. And so what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to try to put them together. Now, the only thing else I would like to try and do is come up here, select a vertex. So the bottom is on the right-hand side of this one. The bottom is on the right-hand side of that one. Okay, that's good. That's basically what I wanted. So I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to press G to move it. And I'm going to move it over here and try to snap to the... Actually, I should probably be doing this after I'm going to... after I bring this stuff back. Okay, this one, that's a different material. I'm going to hide that. This stuff here all needs to get packed. So I think I will go ahead and do that. Let's do... I'm going to use Packmaster, but I'm going to choose uncheck rotation enable, and I'll put on a fixed scale. Pack. I'm going to take these and rotate them 90. And just scale them down a bit. Probably okay there. And this guy here, I'm going to rotate that 90. Okay, so I think we've got everybody packed for this part. And so what I want to do once again is just look in here and find my two pieces. This one and that one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit of this one here. That one there. Turn that off. And I'm going to take this and press G, and I'm going to snap it to there and hope that it's relatively good. So that's overlapping that one. All right, so I should have everybody in there. We're going to see if we have any problems. And I've got, let's just make sure, Alt-H. So I've got that piece, which is that material. And if I go to that stuff, I've got the other material. Okay, so I'm going to save, and I'm going to export this as an FBX. Over in Substance Painter, I'm going to create new. I'm going to switch this to OpenGL and select. And this is here, floor upper FBX is what I called it. Let's bring that in. And here it is. It's come in with my two materials. That one. So that's the floor upper. Okay. I can get rid of that and get rid of that. And we'll go ahead and we'll bake the mesh maps. I'll do this at 2K, uncheck ID and thickness, and bake. I'm going to turn on anti-aliasing so it looks a little bit better. And let's examine our model and look for any weirdness. And it looks okay, so we can start. So let's start on the floor upper main. And to do this, I'm going to build a very simple metal material. I'm going to drag in aluminum. You could use any metal that you want. It's a pure metal right now, and if I close that, you can see it's just gone on the sides here. Okay, so I'm going to come into the properties, and I'm going to take the color down to about mid-gray, maybe a little bit lighter than that, and I'm going to bring the roughness close to halfway, maybe not quite. I don't want it too shiny. I want it to be sort of like old metal. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm going to right click and add a filter. And I'm going to choose this matte finish rough. I've done that many times before, and you can sort of just see some imperfections in the metal there. A little bit anyhow. Okay, so far so good. That's our main metal. We can go ahead and add some dirt to this. I'll just hold Alt and click color and roughness. Because it's dirt, it's going to be very rough, so I'll bring it close to the end. And for the color, I'll slide this up a little bit and choose a dark brown. I'm going to add a black mask, a generator, and the generator I'm going to use is dirt. I'll just bring that down a little bit. I like how that goes underneath these, makes them more visible. I'll leave it at that for the time being. I'm just going to call this dirt. I'm going to call this metal. I'll add another fill, and I'll just check color, and I'll go for this sort of a almost white. I'm going to add a black mask and a generator, and we will try just metal edges. And you can see that it's put a little bit of a white in there, just almost like a highlight. I'm just going to drag that down, and I'll probably leave it at that. So I'm going to call that edges. Okay. The next thing that I want to do is get that hazard stripes on here, and I'm going to put it on here and on here. So let's get to that. So I'm going to come down below the dirt and the edges, and I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to call this hazard, and I'm going to create a fill and drag it into that folder. And let's change the color just for now so we can see. So it's all over right now. I'm going to add a black mask, come to my polygon fill, and we'll try UV chunk. I'm going to select there, and it's gotten the other one because they were right on top of each other. So that's the area that I want to work in. All right, now this actual color is going to be an orangey yellow color. I'll start with that. And I don't really need metal, I don't think. We'll see. I don't need normal. Roughness. Maybe I will leave roughness. I don't need any height info. I'm going to start with that. And I'm going to come to the black mask, and I'm going to add a fill. And on the grayscale, I'm going to search for stripes and choose stripes. And you can see what it's doing so far. Now, it's not quite in the area that we want it. It's going everywhere. So I'm going to come back up to the folder level. I'm going to add a black mask. And once again, I'm going to select here. And now I've got this. Okay, back in here. On the stripes themselves, I'm going to adjust the histogram position. And that's looking pretty sharp as it is. Now let's just have a look at this, and you can see I got yellow, yellow, stripe, stripe. So they're looking pretty symmetrical because of the way I stacked the UVs. We could consider rotating this. Let's see if it's 90. You know, we could do that. I'm going to leave it as it is for now, and even the default number of stripes, because this will be repeated all along 4 or 5 times. I'm going to also add another fill layer. I'm going to drag it below, and I pretty much want to have the same parameters. So let me just come back to here. I had color and roughness, and the roughness was at 0.3. So I'm going to come to this one, color and roughness 0.3, good. But I want this one to be like a black color, so we get this. Okay, so they're a little metallic. We can change that, but I think I like it. You know, I'll see if it's too reflective, then I'll make a change. So there, I've got my hazard stripes done, and I've got some dirt on there. I'm going to go ahead and save this. All right, so now we need to do the floor upper grate. So I'm going to come to here, and I think the first thing we want is we want that metal material on there. So I'm going to copy this layer and paste that on there. So now I have the metal on the area where I'm going to do that pattern effect. I'm probably going to want the dirt and stuff as well. So let's come back to floor upper main, and let's grab the dirt. Let's copy that and paste that. It might be too much. You're not going to see much on the flat area, but it's gone in here a little bit. And we'll see. We'll be using this when I do the pattern. And so we can go ahead and do the pattern right now. So I'm going to add a folder. I'm going to call this grate or pattern, whatever you want. We'll do that. I'm going to create a fill layer and drag it in just like before. And I'm going to, I don't really need to do a black mask. I don't have to mask out that area. But I'm going to be using height. And I'm going to be bringing the height up, I believe. I will put a black mask because then I can add a fill to this and use the grayscale. And I'm going to reset this, and I'm going to actually start typing grate. And I'm going to choose this one here. And you can see now some stuff going on. I'm going to come up to here, and I'll try planar. And I'm going to switch the scale. I'm going to try 12. Okay, so we're seeing that. All right, so there is my pattern. I'm okay with that. Now, I'm going to come over here, and on the black mask, I'm going to actually call this, let's call this pattern. because I'm going to add an anchor point, and it'll assume that name, pattern mask, and I want some of the dirt to go on this because this looks too sort of clean. So I've created an anchor point on the mask that has the grate. I'm going to come up to the dirt generator, scroll down a bit to micro details. Very easy to miss this if it's closed up. I'm going to open that where it says micro height. I'm going to choose true. Scroll down to the bottom to micro height, click on that and choose anchor points, and then choose that anchor point. And you can see I've got some dirt in there. It's very dark. You can now open up the levels and play with this until you get the effect you want. I just want to have like a little bit of dirt on the outside of that, and that's fine with me. Something like that. Okay, now that's all well and good, but I want to do one more effect, because I found when I take this piece and I array it along the floor here, let's just go back to layout, and I'll just unhide that. If I add the array, even though there's a small break here, which is what I wanted, it's a little too much with that grate pattern all the way along. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to have this grate pattern kind of just in the middle. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to where the metallic grate stuff is, and I'm going to add a paint layer to that. That didn't work. That's not the way to do it. On the mask, I'm going to choose the magic wand and choose paint. And I'm just going to drag it here. I just prefer it there with the anchor right there. Okay, so now I've got this paint layer here. Let's switch over to orthographic and snap this into view. And to make it easier, let's activate symmetry and hope that this is relatively symmetrical. And I'm going to come over to my alphas and I'm going to choose a square. And I'm just going to try this. I'm going to hold Shift and Control and click and drag across. And you can see it's created an area there. I'm going to see if I can get that a little bit smaller. Okay, so if I do that, I just want to make sure I'm getting all the way across there, like that. Actually, I'm going to do it right here. And I'm going to try to get this the amount that I want. Say I use that. Sometimes it's easier to do this on the actual UVs. And so this is the UV for this. So that's that part. And then if I switch the symmetry now to Z and go across the top, I get this sort of square. So I'm going to shut that down. 3D view only. And let's push this over. We'll come back to perspective view. This is what we have. I may have missed a little bit in there. I can always draw over that. Okay, and then I can come to the other side, and if I've missed it, I can do the same. All right, good. So we've done that. There's the paint layer, and I can add, and I may do this on another layer as well. Pattern, I can do this right above. I'm going to add a fill, and I'm going to use color and height. I'm going to change the color to like a black color, and I'll try with the height up. I'm not sure which way I have to go. Add a black mask, add a paint layer, and I'm going to go back to symmetry. And let's see, let's snap this into orthographic again. And in my alphas, I'm going to search for circle, and I'm going to choose this one, the circle with this square, circle empty square. Let's make this a bit smaller. Let's zoom in a bit and just have a go at this and see what it looks like. You see, I've got it symmetrical there. I don't think I want to be going in or up. I want to have this down here. I'm just going to go about halfway, and we'll see. Back on the paint layer. Yeah, something like that. Circle with a square in it. And then I'll just have to come over here and do another one. All right, so turn that off, go back to perspective. Let's label that as bolt or something like that. Okay, make sure we save. And that's pretty much it. So let's go see what this looks like. And if we want to make any changes, like, if we want to, up the dirt amount here. Make it a little darker or something. Could try that. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'll save that. Okay, so I've got the names of my materials here, so I'm going to go to File, Export Textures, and I'm going to choose PBR Metallic Roughness. I happen to have one here with shorter names, but it's just the basic PBR Metallic Roughness. And search for a place to put this. I'm going to put this in Textures, followed Corridor Video. And I'm just going to export them as 8-bit PNG. Export. So we should see we get the upper grate part and the main. Okay, just to save again. Let's go back to Blender now. We'll go over to the Shading tab. And it's this stuff that we want to put the material on. I'm just going to, for the moment, shut off the array. So we're just focusing. Let's just focus on that anyhow. Okay, so I am on, for materials, floor upper main. You can see it here. So I'm going to select my principal BSDF and Shift Control T and find where those textures are. So this is Textures, follow Corridor Video. I want the main one, so base color to roughness, principal texture setup. So I'm starting to see that, and I'm going to select this one here. If I can't do it there, I'm just going to select here, floor upper grate, select Shift Control T and grate, and add that. Come back to layout. Let's just focus on that, see it in layout. Okay, there it is. Now, of course, it's going to depend on the lighting, which light you've got going. So let's turn that back here, slash key, and let's save. Let's turn on the array, and let's have a look at it in here. Okay, you can see them all joining together there. I think I would like to try a couple of different lightings. Maybe this one. Yeah, I like that one. It's a little softer. Okay. Now, I do have some lights in here as well that we could, but this isn't the the final lighting or anything, but just to give a bit better of an idea. Okay, so there is the floor now relatively done. I may go back and dirty it up a little bit more, but in the next video, I will work on doing some more stuff with you, and probably a bit on my own, because the stuff that I have done on my own has been very simple, a very simple unwrap and applying a metal texture, very similar to this one. Maybe a little darker than this, and I'll darken this one up to match. So when it comes to doing something kind of interesting, I'll do it with you. So we'll do some together, some on my own, and we'll eventually get to the end of this project. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.